jumped in at. Remember how you had time? Remember you was defending Young Thug. You don't know what the fuck is going on in his case from the jump. Listen, I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just saying he was part of Young Thug case when Diddy was still on it. The nigga was going to try all type of shit. He wasn't there from the jump, so he probably just jumped on to make it look like, yo, have client, like have, the public feel like I was on this, but I just jumped on pro bono, so now you feel like I was part of Diddy's legal team. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta understand how these niggas play. They criminals too.
God damn, man.
You know I know this, nigga. That's why I lay low key, because I know niggas be still trying to get me. Look at it now, nigga. How many times you see me get locked up in the last 4 years?
Yeah,
nigga, after all the shit I did for that office, like, niggas still coming after me. It's crazy, nigga. That's what I said, bro. I be chilling because I'm like, nah. I know how scary these people get.
God damn. Yo, his family probably lit though, man. Cause yo, if he had got the Rico, he done, bro.
Nigga, he beat the Rico. That shit is crazy. I'm still like, wow.
You know what's crazy? Like, he ain't had no option. He couldn't tell on nobody. He couldn't do nothing.
Nigga, nah, you had to take that shit to the door.
Yo, supposedly his plea offer was 15. If they had gave you that and you was facing what he was facing, you would take it or not?
15. Nigga, I'm so scared of. I'm being honest with you, and this is word. Like, the shit he was facing, nigga, I'll probably be so scared I would have took this shit, because I'm like, nigga, nobody beat these people. Remember, I don't got Diddy money to be paying fucking $30 million to fight a case, nigga. That's not happening, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Diddy's making, remember, like, this is another conversation people don't want to talk about, bro. This is real, bro. When you fucking go against people with, like, Diageo, like that liquor company, bro, them people are powerful. They go and send their own private investigators, own people to talk to, them higher ups, and them higher ups come build the case on you, nigga. That's how it works, nigga. Like, once Diddy sued them people, that shit came down, bro. Cause nigga, you might as well come to Florida and lock up all these swingers that be having niggas fuck their girl, nigga.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. Yo, you know how I think Diddy regrets though? He should have never paid Cassie. Should have never paid that bitch.
I think him paying Cassie was what made him beat the Rico. She took the money, nigga.
You think
everybody was there for the money, so y'all wasn't getting no money no more. Y'all turned.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie.
Yo, what, you in New York right now? You in up north?
Yeah.
When you coming back down here?
I'm like, since this shit is done now, I'm probably gonna come for the 4th. What up?
Come, nigga. You know me and Steve, cool. We had that conversation.
Yeah, are we outside though?
Nigga, you know I'm outside, nigga. What's up, nigga? Like, that's it, nigga. I mean, these, like I said, bro.
About Steve. So, all right, so you and Steve straight now. We good?
Yeah, we had a call. We had a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, we had something private.
I'll pop out and we could do IRL content. You want to do IRL shit?
Yeah, let's do some shit.
All right, bet. Let's do that. No, I'm down. I'm through with it.
I bet. Let me know. I'm here when just let me know when you come down. So I'll be around. Yo, and I gotta tell you about some other shit, bro.
Yeah, we'll do those stream. I ain't trying to get these niggas in our business. All right, text me.
All right, bro.
All right, yo. All right, it's my man 6. Chat, we outside? I ain't gonna lie, man. I be outside with a big 6'9", man. Every time I'm outside with them, niggas just be showing love. Like, I ain't never seen no nigga even trying to. Actually, well, pre-indictment era. Like, now, niggas don't even hate him that much. Okay. Let's get back to Unk. We had paused him, and we got to get back to what's his name. Let Unk pop his shit, man.
The prosecution, Puffy's still on the floor. Everybody doing all of that. Puffy's still on the floor. Maureen Comey, she dip out. Her grill all messed up. All the other assistant U.S. attorneys, they all walking out. Puffy still on the floor. Puffy still on the floor. Puffy on the floor. Puffy on the floor like this. So Puffy get up. Puffy get up. He trying to hug Mark Agnifilo. He trying to hug Tenny Garagos. But the U.S. Marshal step in and like, nah, nigga, you can't hug nobody. You still in custody. The U.S. Marshals had to physically grab Puff and separate him from Agnifilo, from all his attorneys, and they escorted.
Lord Hybrid with the big 100. This nigga's a big baller in here. Lord Hybrid with a big 100. He said, man, 50 Cent cheap ass somewhere, big mad. Tell 50 now he could pay her rent. 50, I love you. So I won't say that to you directly, but Lord Hybrid said it. Lord Hybrid said it. He a big baller. Lord Hybrid, you just donated $100. You want to pay Daphne rent? You can fuck her too. You can fuck her too. You could get that little pussy too. You could get that. She's selling it. It's 10 bands a month. Diddy was paying 10 bands. She might give you a discount. You might get it for 8. Would you do it?
Escorted him out the side door. And you could see when they opened the door and Puff walk out, he do this. Then everybody left the courtroom. And then Mark Agnifilo, Nicole Westmoreland, all the attorneys there, they won. They beat him. Puffy beat the feds at trial. Mark Agnifilo, Nicole Westmoreland, Xavier Donaldson, Jason Driscoll, Brian Steele, Anna Estevao, Alexander Shapiro, Jason Driscoll, Tenny Garagos. They beat the feds at Rico at trial. They beat them. Yes, they did.
By the way, chat, I want to tell y'all so much how much I love y'all. I do read all y'all comments, and I've seen some of y'all even say today, yo, Ak, you got to sit with Unc and Lauren today. Slow down on the drinking. I'm actually about to text them both. Obviously, we're not going to meet up until we hear if Diddy's leaving court or going to be getting bail, but we are going to be doing something today. Thank y'all. Like, y'all are like, I hope the amount y'all watch me, y'all feel like we're connected, because we are. So when y'all be like, yo, Ak, slow on the drinking, and I also took some constructive advice from y'all, because some of y'all did say, Ak, towards the end of last night's stream, you may have got too lit because you were doing a lot of yapping. You know, you're doing a lot of yapping, so I appreciate that.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They beat him. They beat him. They beat him. They beat him.
I ain't gonna lie. This sounds so funny. I gotta play it. Ooh, I gotta do this first.
There has been just. You're willing to protect your own daughters? No, I wouldn't donate any super chats, right? But in people's hearts, the people that are celebrating Diddy went free, keep that in mind. The friends and family you thought you knew that was staying quiet because they were too cowardly to come out and say what they really felt, because they were like, oh, like maybe this might make me look like a monster too. The people that are now that you call friends and family that are on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, celebrating, giving hip hip hooray, doing whatever, take note. Take note, because this is the reality, and this is what we need to live in, and this is what we're going to use to build. This is not the end for victims' rights. It's not. It's not the end for sex trafficking rights. It's not the end for anything that we're doing. I feel my heart breaks for anybody that actually knows what was on the line. For anyone, and this is why when they were doing the jury, they asked someone, have you ever been a victim of abuse? Has anybody you known been a victim of abuse? Do you work with people of abuse? Why did they kick anybody off that said yes? Because they wanted to keep the jury ignorant.
Y'all know her?
They wanted the jury to go in saying, I don't even understand. How is that? Okay, she could have left. They wanted to make sure that these tired narratives that have been used to keep men and women abused and oppressed for decades, they wanted to make sure that it was a ball of ignorance, that not even an expert witness explaining what happened could actually break through. If I could say anything about the prosecution's case, and I think the prosecution did a hell of a case, but if I could say anything about the prosecution's case, I think they overestimated that people would do the right thing. I think they overestimated that people would apply the law. I think they overestimated that people would feel shocked and say that a monster that did these things should not be on the street. I think that is the only mistake the prosecution actually made. I think that's the only mistake that the prosecution actually made. The fact that they thought people would actually see themselves in someone else. I think they overestimated the amount of good, and I know I constantly do that in life. I've had my butt handed to me quite a lot. I think they overestimated the fact that people would, if given the chance, would 100% do the right thing. I think they overestimated that. I do. And I think at the end of the day, the fact that people are cheering that a known abuser, it's sick. It's sick, but it is what it is. Welcome to reality, but it doesn't stop, right? It doesn't stop. We move forward. I get it, you guys. Ignore the trolls. The ignorance, again, the will of the many. My dad also told me, there's in life, right? 70% of people are sheep, and they just want to follow. And if you tell them, no, if you try to drag them out the cave, remember the cave? You try to drag them, no, you're looking at shadows. 70% of people will fight you, because how dare you disrupt their reality? How dare you disrupt with the truth, with the fact that they could be free? There's another 10%, right? So, hey, what's up? 70% are actually sheep. They want to follow. And if you try to tell them, guess what? I made a world where you can think for yourself, they will fight you because they don't want that. And then you have the other 30.
Take a little shot of the tears.
%. There's 10% that they look at those sheep and they say,
Drain Masters, what up? Said this was the longest humiliation ritual ever. They wanted real information. Puff took it to trial, spanked it.
I can make those sheep mine. I can make those sheep mine. I'll tell the sheep whatever they want, and I'll bring them out to the pasture. And I'll make sure that the sheep work for me. I'll slaughter a few when I need to eat. I'll wear their hides. I'll do whatever I want, but I will use the sheep.
Yo, this the joint they call what? This who y'all be watching?
For my own will. And the 10% realize because the sheep.
I ain't even gonna do what I heard she be hating on me nonstop. This is like a YouTuber right here. I heard she hating on me like she a scorned ex. I don't even know her. But I see her and she crying and she's a black woman and I want to uplift her. And I don't know why she feels she Cassie, because Cassie ain't crying today. Cassie's thumbing through a check. Daphne's moving out, but Cassie's thumbing through a check. So I hear what she's crying for. She feel like she's a victim too, because she sat and she saw some things that she felt victims could whatever. But Shorty, I'm not even going to attack you. You see a woman like you, I'll address this woman for the first time or every time. I ain't gonna never do it again. You see a chick like you don't know me. But I from what people have told me you've said about me, you've judged me based on few things, and in your mind, I'm probably a monster. You've convicted me of everything maybe people have ever accused me of, and it's cool. And I've had to wear that because you got a platform and you just say, fuck this nigga. But you went to a trial and you sat there with another nigga being accused of certain things. And you're in tears because some other people, and it's not that y'all just seen bite-sized info. I don't think you would ever have a problem with me if we knew each other. I don't think so. But you went to a trial and some people had some other opinions. And let me tell you this is the truth. Ma, you good? My mom. I don't know. She's one in my little mini fridge. I'll say this to you. I predicted this outcome, which happened to be true. But if Diddy was convicted, I wouldn't be sitting here in tears. I'm going to just be honest. I wouldn't be sitting here in tears. I'm not Diddy's mans. I would say Diddy is clear a jury. I might not believe that because I didn't believe that. I told y'all what I thought. The jury think you did these things, my nigga. You a man, you got to stand accountable for it. The thing with somebody like you is that y'all wear y'all emotions on y'all sleeves and, you know, y'all are super judgmental and, you know, when things don't go y'all way, y'all are victims. The trial ain't go your way, but are you a media personality or are you a victim? You crying like this is the reaction maybe Jane Doe or Cassie should have, or maybe Mia, or maybe Capricorn Clark. Why are you so emotional? If you got a abuser, you should probably file a lawsuit against him. So what are you here doing? But you know exactly what you're doing. You're representing an ideology of women or people who believe that when we believe we've been victimized, everybody should blindly believe us. Fuck a trial. So you're looking this distraught because of what? She looked like she's a victim. Did Diddy fuck her? Does anybody know if Diddy has fucked her?
Sheep are just looking to follow. All they have to do is be strong. Might equals right. And those sheep will follow along. And then there's 10%. They see what's going on. They see the sheep.
And shut your stupid ass up, man.
The things that I was...
This is how Diddy finna walk out. This is how Diddy finna walk out of that fucking courtroom today, gang. If he's released. I don't think he's gonna get released, but I ain't gonna lie, the liquor is hitting. I ain't gonna hold you. That's another thing, and just honestly for me to y'all. One thing about, like, let's say the Diddy case. And, you know, I'm going to meet up with Lauren Conlon later. You know, I never want to feel like I'm cornering Lauren. Lauren's an amazing, beautiful woman. If you don't know, she is married with I believe, multiple kids. We joke around. I do think she looks beautiful, but I'm not trying to, like, pursue her like that. Like, I won't disrespect her husband, nor disrespect the fact that she has a family, honestly, okay? And you could ask, I'm not doing nothing inappropriate. When the camera cuts, we'll take a picture, and we're out. There's nothing weird, okay? But I do know that there is a group of women, not necessarily Lauren, but there's a group of women who they felt that Cassie getting justice is their justice. And for those people, I weep and I'm sorry for you. The reality of the situation is that you're not Cassie. You're not that situation. And it doesn't mean because Cassie didn't get the sex trafficking charge proven for her means that you're not a victim. I don't know your situation, but I do want to empower women, whether it's my chat queens or otherwise. Don't look at representatives. If you feel that you've been victimized and abused, you should go and pursue it. What I'm trying to say is that if you're looking as Cassie, as the person who you felt represented you, she's not your representative. The courts have ruled she was not sex trafficked. She might have been prostituted, but she has not been sex trafficked. And prostitution, there is an implicit agreement with the person who's doing the prostitution. There was nothing by force, nothing by coercion, nothing by fraud. There was no RICO Act. There was no aiding and abetting. And for the women, and this is why I don't want to put it to any particular woman, don't take this as, oh, this is niggas like saying fuck y'all bitches. No. They're actually victims of sex trafficking, victims of sexual violence. We love you. 100% we love you. And I implore you guys, don't tie what you think is your perception towards someone like Cassie. Cassie never called the police on Diddy. She received $30 million and then was compelled to testify to try to put this man in jail. And she still said, I still have a lot of love for him. That's not you. You ain't getting $30 million. Maybe your pain, your suffering, whatever you're going through, maybe you will look at it different if you've healed and you've done shit and you get $30 million. You're not going to get that. Don't compare yourself to Cassie. You're not Cassie. Cassie is someone who today y'all think is probably like, oh my God, I didn't get justice. Cassie never went to the cops. She went to Douglas Wigder and got a $20 million settlement from Diddy. That's not going to be you. If you think you're a victim of sex trafficking, domestic violence, anything to do with taking advantage of you, listen, I love my chat queens so much. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I hate to even say this. I respond to my chat queens more than I respond to my chat kings, just because I know we don't have that much of them, and I feel like the men outnumber the women here. But I try to show them love and support. But I don't want y'all to feel like because this case is going down as it is, it's an indictment on men and women relationships. No, this is an indictment on Cassie. Cassie went through all this and spared this man multiple times, never called the cops, never made it was clear that, hey, you're forcing me to do these things. I don't want to do it. Jane Doe was more of, oh, I don't want to do it. Cassie literally said, I'm doing this because I don't want you to do it to another bitch. So I just want to say to all my chat queens, any woman that could be watching this, I hope y'all don't think I'm insensitive. I hope y'all don't. I love y'all sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Let me tell you this. My channel, as much as my niggas is in here, my chat queens buy the most of my merch. They support me the most. My chat queens, I promise you. I'm not here to disrespect women, but I'm also not here to go along with propaganda that would make men just seem demonized as some evil people. Cassie was domestically abused. She was hit. There was a lot of things that happened to her. The unfortunate reality of it is that I don't believe none of that was a federal crime in what was charged. I hope you can understand the difference. So if you hear me playing some Diddy shit, it's not that I'm saying Cassie, fuck Cassie. Never. I'm not saying that. Nah. That's why I keep saying I do believe she deserved the money she got. The rest of you hoes, you kick rocks. Cassie did deserve that bread. She went through a lot. However, on a criminal level, I don't believe Diddy's a sex trafficker. I don't believe he's a racketeer. The jury agreed with me today, but I don't want to be insensitive to women who might feel like this is the epitome of our voice not being understood, okay? I'll actually stop playing this video. I'll go back to Tissa.
And they see the might equals right. They see the tyranny, and they see what the tyranny's doing. But they just look because they're observers and they're interested. They're like, how could the sheep do that? Oh my God. They watch it like it's a football game. They see what's going on, but they choose not to get involved for whatever reason. But they see clearly what's going on. They're not sheep. And then there's the 10%, and that's us. There's that 10% that you say no. You want to wake the sheep up. You want to wake the sheep. The sheep are fighting with you. You're begging them, please, you're going to slaughter. Hey, what's up? There's the 10% that you see what's going on with the tyranny. And just like the other 10% that's just sitting there, you see, but you're like, no, not on my watch. You want to educate the sheep. You want to help the sheep. At the very least, even if the sheep fight you, you say, I am going to create a world where the sheep can be free and happy with their dumb selves. But happy, dumb sheep, right? Happy, dumb sheep. And the tyranny always try to mobilize. The 10% that are the tyranny of evil men, they always try to mobilize the sheep to move against the 10% that want to make the better world something for everyone. But it's okay, you know? It's okay. And this isn't about the Diddy trial, because at the end of the day, I stand with everything I say. But it just shocks me the way, like, wow, people really don't care. But you know who does? We care. And we're here. And, you know, my heart breaks for everybody that was a victim of abuse. My heart breaks for everybody that risked themselves and stood on business. My heart breaks. And you know what? I'm going to stand firm. And it's okay. And people can cheer that a monster went free. And it's okay because there's going to be a next time. And this was, like Lovely T said, it was a wake-up time. It was a wake-up call for everybody in the industry. It was a wake-up call that we need to do more work. It was a wake-up call that people will say one thing and go into the voting booth and vote for another thing. It was a wake.
You know what? This year I've been on my pop out and show niggas type of vibes. Yo, Tissa, I ain't gonna cap with you. I know I never watch your content. I promise you, day in my life. Like, I'm playing your shit now because I do know you do whatever, but I don't watch you. I was trying to, because I knew you're at the court, but my audience told me quickly, like, you be hating on me. I don't know what you be saying about me, but I just imagine it's bad. I'm going to keep it a beam with you. I'm on my pop out and show niggas type of era this year. I want to sit with you, though. I don't know if you're down to sit with me. I want to sit with you, and I want to have a constructive conversation because the way you talking about all this victim shit, and I agree, there are actual victims, but like this tearing shit, I would love to sit in front of you. If you want to have a moderator, we could do it. You're in New York. You know, Lauren Conlon and motherfucking Unc. My shit right here. I want to sit with you. I don't know if you're down to sit with me. I would never invite you to sit with me if I intend to disrespect you, just to let you know. But, you know, again, despite whatever you said about me, I want to sit with you. I want to have a logical conversation. It could be a debate. Because at the end of the day, I definitely believe that law and order should rule the land. And if someone is saying some shit or whatever, feelings, emotions, agendas should be put to the side, should be what's proven in trial. I'm down to sit with you about this trial. So somebody tell Tissa that I'm down to sit with her. She could have the moderator of her choice if she needs a moderator. I don't know if she needs a moderator, but I'm down for her to get a moderator. And I'm down to speak about the facts of this case. Now, the reason why I'm down to speak about this is because, Tissa, again, I don't know you. It seems from what I've heard, you don't like me. It's okay. But I never went into this case that was super emotional. It doesn't emotionally bother me, or I don't give a fuck if Diddy's fucking 30 girls or 2 girls. I don't care. When I see you crying, it feels it's emotionally affected you. However, I'm down to have a very one-on-one debate. It's a debate. This is not, keep your Kleenex over there. We will speak about the facts. Here's the thing. You have a up on me. I've never been to court. I ain't never been in that trial. I ain't never seen Diddy in there. But you have. We could debate on this particular trial. Told y'all, chat, I booked the jet. It ain't this week, so I got some time. I booked the jet. It ain't this week. I got some time. Someone let Tissa know that Ak is down to speak to her or debate, if she needs a moderator, cool, about the facts of the case. I'm going to say this one thing before I continue to play this, then I'm going to go back to Unc. Chat, I'm going to be honest with you. I love all y'all in here. I love y'all so much. I was incredibly proud of how I approached this case. I felt so incredibly embarrassed with the Tory trial. I did. I felt like the way we looked at that trial was not fair. And everybody on our stream thought it was going to be A, and it ended up being B. And maybe we were fair, and maybe some other shit happened, Rot Nation, whatever. But I said, I don't want to be the biased guy. And you're hearing more of my opinion now that the trial's over. But, like, I didn't want to be the biased guy because I serve you guys, which is my audience. I thought I was incredibly fair here. incredibly. This is why I was looking for people. I watch Law and Crimes who I know they don't fuck with Diddy. I watch them a lot. I watch Lauren Conlon. I love Lauren, but Lauren's a girl's girl. Unc might be pro Diddy, but I try to get every perspective that I could give my perspective. And I wasn't in court. And you're at the courthouse. I didn't want to be biased. This time, and there's no bragging, my prediction happened to be true. The Mann Act charges, the prostitution charges, was convicted, but nothing else. Okay. I would love to speak to you, Tissa. I am non-emotional about this. If Diddy had gotten 1 million years, I would have been like, wow, that's not what I thought. But I would not be sitting here bawling. That's a fact. So I would love to engage you because you seem to be making content about this. So we could make some good content. Whatever your opinions about me, we could confront that too. Because I've heard you've said some really nasty things about me. And I don't know if you're equipped with all the information to defend all that. But we could talk about that too. Or we could keep it a Diddy trial, which I believe you should have more info about than me because I've never been there. So someone send that info to her, and I'm down to do that later tonight, tomorrow, anytime. And y'all know we in New York. I'm not that. My headquarters is literally, if you didn't know, it's 10 minutes from the courthouse. She could pop over there too. Also, Armand, I want to link up with you before you, I don't know where you're from, but before you go wherever you go.
Wake-up call that people, the sheep can't be trusted. It was a wake-up call that the sheep can't be trusted. And now that we know the sheep can't be trusted, what do? Do we make a better world for the sheep? Do we make real lamb time? See ya, girl. See ya. All right. Thank you, Mama. I'm good always. Thank you, Mama. All right. So listen, right? That was lovely tea. She's so sweet. So what do? Do we say F it and let the sleep go to slaughter? At one point, I was trying to figure out what the flavor of it was like.
Read their faces.
Make the world a more dangerous place. Someone's getting married. The Willa Mini. Again.
Sure, it's so good, man. Let's get back to popping it, man. Let me go get some food or something, because
So it's
I ain't gonna lie, I just set it up. Me, Unc, Lauren, we about to link up.
chill right here.
Let Unc rock real quick. Let me get some food.
It's a bunch of people down there. There were reporters. I'm in the overflow. I'm in the overflow joint. I'm in the overflow. All the people that wanted Puffy to get convicted, they writing like this, y'all. They shaking their head like, I can't believe it. People was hurt. The people that wanted to see Puffy go to jail for life was hurt. They was wounded. Even though witnesses perjured themselves on the stand, even though witnesses lied on the stand, even though there was prosecutorial misconduct, even though false testimony, they still wanted Puffy to go to prison for life. They was hurt. They was wounded. They was running out, shaking their head like, I can't believe it. I can't believe he's not guilty. They was mad. They was mad. Me, Sean G, I was chilling like Matt Dillon, ain't robbing, ain't stealing. You understand? I was just chilling. Puffy beat the feds, man. He beat them at trial. Puffy beat the feds. He beat them. Nothing more. I don't have nothing else to say. I told you everything that happened. I'm gonna go back in here at 1 o'clock. And he won. My prediction is that Puffy will go home today. The judge will release him today. And they will set a sentencing date for him to come back to get sentenced. But they'll probably give him an ankle monitor. They may give him an ankle monitor. He'll come back to get sentenced, and he'll probably get sentenced to 1 year incarceration, 1 year, 1 day, 366 days. They won't sentence him to 365 days on the dot, because then he won't get to take advantage of good time. In the feds, you got to serve 85% of your sentence. I got sentenced to 18 months in federal prison. I served 15 months, 15 days, and 19 hours. I didn't take no halfway house. I did all my time there. I ain't want to go to no halfway house. So, but in order for the good time to kick in, you got to do 1 year and 1 day, or get sentenced to 1 year and 1 day. I got, my prediction is he's gonna get sentenced to 1 year, 1 day. He'll get 12, 10. What's 85% of 12? 10% of 12. He'll get time served, and he'll go home, and it'll be over. His assets are safe. His assets cannot be touched. The Rico carried the asset forfeiture clause. The jury made the decision that they did not want to seize his assets. Monica Carter, I see you. So that's it. I need everybody to double tap that screen and get this video a thumbs up. I need everybody to double tap that screen, give this video a thumbs up, put me on 1,000. Give it a thumbs up, hurry up. Hollywood T. You and your supporters on this channel stood 10 toes for Puff. I'm so happy he will probably get time served. I'm gonna run back down here and mull around and shout out to Puff. Shout out to Puff, man. You beat the feds, man. Your legacy is cemented. Puffy's legacy is cemented. Puffy is an entertainment icon. Foundational Black American male that rose from Mount Vernon, New York to Harlem to become a billionaire in business, an international, global businessman, an iconic person in the music industry. In the film industry, he acted on Broadway. Rose to the top, to the pinnacle of his profession. Got indicted by the United States of America, the United States government, with unlimited resources. They offered him a plea deal of 186 months. He said, I ain't taking no plea. Strike up the jury, crank up the jury. Let's go to trial. And he beat him at trial.
What's up, wonderful man?
What's up, man?
It's me, What's going on? Wonderful man.
All right.
Oh, they gave
I'm doing, yeah, I'm on my live right now. Yeah, you got not guilty. He took the feds to trial, and he beat him. He took the feds to trial, and he beat him. Legacy cemented. Legacy cemented. Sean G, podcast with Soul. Don't never stop. Don't never stop. Peace. I'll see y'all after 1 o'clock.
Oh, my bad. So we never finished Lauren Conlon. Let me have her rock out.
Asking for transcripts or testimony or something. But no, I asked someone behind me because I noticed that certain people started coming in the courtroom that hadn't been there previously. And somebody told me that looked kind of important. He said, there is a verdict. And I was like, what? There's a verdict after, gosh, I don't know. It was 57 minutes later. It was crazy. So, oh, and this morning, by the way, Diddy and his family, they were in the courtroom and they all prayed together and then everybody cheered. But let me tell you what happened. So I was so nervous. I don't know. It's like, I'm still kind of like, it's so weird. I'm still kind of all shaky just because it was such an intense moment. So the four-person juror number 5 stood up, and once he said not guilty on Rico, everybody gasped. I mean, it was crazy gasps in the courtroom. And then once they said not guilty on the sex trafficking of Cassie, that was it. It was like people kind of lost their minds for a second. So yeah, he was on a high. Diddy was, he was holding Tenny Garagos's hand, and he was so happy. He was looking up, he was praying, he had his hands in his head. But things, I would say Maureen Comey definitely rained on his parade, because Mark Agnifilo stood up after, and he basically said, Your Honor, my client has been acquitted of very serious charges now, so we would propose that he gets released today, and so he went through this whole thing about why he should be released to Two-Star Island. He has his passport, his plane is chartered, it's somewhere in Maui, he's not a flight risk, all this stuff. And then Maureen Comey got up and she was like, nope, you've seen all of the drug use, you've seen all of the violence. And she basically was like, this is, these are very serious charges, and you saw the conduct surrounding these charges. So, and then she said, this could be up, the sentencing could be up to 20 years. So she really, and by the way, I don't think that would be the case at all. I think that's more about trafficking or crossing state lines for prostitution with minors. I think personally he could get like a 2-year sentence with time served or 18 months or something like that. But either way, Maureen Comey just kind of squashed that real quick, and Diddy was like, what the hell? But what's happening is each side has until 1 p.m. to formally submit a motion about why he should be released or if he should stay in jail. And at one point the judge is like, Mr. Combs, I'm not going to rule on this right now. It will be today at some point, but I know that you don't want to go back to the MDC. And Diddy was like, I don't want to go back. It was quite a moment, and everyone was laughing. So when he adjourned, the whole side, his whole family was cheering. They were hugging. They were, it was very emotional. Oh, he profusely thanked the jury. He was over there profusely thanking them, clasping his hands and just nodding at them and thanking them. And it was, I like I said, I'm still very shaky, and we weren't allowed to do interviews in the hallway, but I did speak to Justin Combs and Charlucci just really quickly, and I just was like, how are you feeling? And he said, overwhelmed, and I can't read my own handwriting. Overwhelmed and great. I don't know if I can't really read that. But yeah, this is, someone asked if I was surprised. No, I don't think I was surprised, actually. I really didn't think that the Rico was easy to prove, and I've said this before. I thought that I wasn't super surprised. I thought that it could go either way with Cassie. I definitely thought not guilty with Jane, and I thought guilty on the Mann Act stuff because, we kind of saw that on paper, and it's kind of hard to say that he didn't do that when you saw actual tangible evidence. But again, I actually wasn't super surprised on the Rico and on the trafficking. Again, I think that the jury most likely had
I love you, Lauren, but we gotta get to Boosie's reaction. We need Boosie's reaction. Boosie, what you saying, Boosie?
So glad Diddy free, bro. You know, the reason is because I'm tired of seeing us black moguls get took down like that, bro. Like, and I'm tired of seeing us black people go against us black moguls like that. And I feel like if Diddy was a white man who done all this shit for people, you know, I know he ain't paid people, but if he done all this shit for hip hop, if he was white, they would have had so many white people out there protesting for this man losing his life behind a relationship, you know. And people always, Boosie was on Diddy's side. Nah, it ain't that. It's because I'm thinking about 7 children. Y'all thinking about one person. I'm thinking about these 7 kids who been in my kids' position. Not knowing if your daddy gonna come home or not is a burden on the child. So all y'all was like, no, I'm thinking about them damn children, man. So man, I'm glad he free, bro. You know, like I've been said, I don't feel he was guilty of nothing. You know, nothing but domestic violence. You know, but the court spoke, man, and man, I'm happy that dude children, man. I know his feeling right now, bro. I'm just happy for them children, man. So, you know, Diddy, sit your ass down somewhere. That's what you need to do. Grab Stevie J and your children and get the fuck on. Man, I'm so glad Diddy free, bro.
There we go.
The reason. I
heard Ray J done chimed in. Where's Ray Weather Jr.? Ray Weather Jr. chimed in.
Soaring, straight touring. Simply a lot of men be wanting to hand me deep cream Bentley. You name it, I could money hang a rearrange. Why you wanna take?
Nah, come on, Ray. Young Miami chimed in with this. Young Miami chimed in with this. Go ahead, Young Miami. Young Miami chimed in. I don't know what this other shit is. Young Miami chimed in. They're sick on Long Crimes right now. They still live? Ain't no press conference coming. Y'all sick. Y'all sick.
I think it.
Look.
But we'll see what those arguments look like when they return later this afternoon.
We're also talking about the reaction to this verdict. I mentioned the statement from the government. Per CNN, Cassie Ventura's lawyer, Douglas Wigdor, told CNN, following, again, the Sean Combs being acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering, found guilty of the Mann Act transportation to engage in prostitution charges. There was a lot of mixed emotions in that courtroom. Obviously, we would have liked to have seen convictions on the Rico charges and the sex trafficking charges, but Cassie prompted this investigation by the Southern District, and now Sean Combs stands before this court as a convicted felon of 2 crimes. To be very clear, he was acquitted with respect to the sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura. He was found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution with respect to Cassie. So Cassie and her testimony did support one of the convictions in this case. Let me bring in Mina Sewat-Lona. Mina, so good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. We have a number of Super Chat questions that are coming in. For example, we have a Super Chat question from JB Dub. Thank you so much. Jesse, man, just want to say thank you for everything, man. Great job covering this. That's so kind. Thank you so much. This is an interesting one we had here from Super Chat. This is from JAM. Thank you so much. How does this verdict impact the civil sexual assault lawsuits that he faces? Mina, you and I both know, different standard of law, right? Different burden of proof. But I do wonder if we see some sort of movement or action as a result of this verdict.
I mean, there's no way to foresee that. But I would say I don't think it's going to.
Fuck all that shit, man. You heard Boosie said, man, put your pussy lips on live, man. You get $1,000, man. It's back. It's back. I ain't gonna hold you. It's back.
Change anything. I think that he's going to still have to fight those allegations. and they're lengthy. There's over 80, and in fact, while we were waiting on deliberations, there was another lawsuit that came in. So I don't think this affects that. And a lot of people sometimes ask, why do people file civil suits as opposed to something with the government? And this is why sometimes, according to the law, people don't get the justice that they are looking for when it comes to some of these government cases. So then they resort to civil cases as a way to get some kind of payback for what they feel like has happened to them. So I don't think it's going to affect the civil cases.
Yeah, I think that's a different animal. They'll be attacked in a different way. But look, I mean, if you look at OJ, right? There was a criminal case, there was a civil case, different results. But also he's facing allegations in the civil context that have nothing to do with the criminal case. And that's something that's completely different. I want to bring back in Elizabeth on this because, Elizabeth, I know we have to sign you off in a minute. We got this super chat question from Shiri B. Thank you so much for this. Love Law and Crime. Thank you so much. Jesse and Queen Elizabeth. Did the defense ever bring up a conspiracy theory of the timing of the allegations due to Diddy's lawsuit against Diageo? There was nothing about that in the criminal case, right?
I mean, surprisingly, Jesse, it was brought up just a little bit in relation to one particular witness, and that being Derek Ferguson, this chief financial officer over at Bad Boy, when they kind of mentioned during his cross-examination whether or not Diageo might have played a role in kind of, they were talking about the expansion of Ciroc and how they were only isolated to certain urban areas, and that Derek Ferguson was kind of talking about how the Combs enterprise, not to be confused with the one that the government was alleging, but the Combs enterprise wanted more of an expansion outside of just to be marketed at urban areas. So surprisingly, it was brought up in that particular context. And then that, when I remember reading, or not reading, because obviously I was there, I remember hearing it, and I was like, oh, might be in relation to the Diageo and kind of the civil matter with that. And so it was brought up in court, yes, but as far as just the overall conversation about it, it was really just kind of limited to that.
Yeah, and not the timing of it. There was some insidious reason. Before we let you go, I know I have to wrap up. There's a lot of commotion going on outside, right? What's happening around
there
you?
is. Yeah, honestly, Jesse, if you guys saw me kind of looking around, looking back and forth, it's because literally right behind our tent, somebody was yelling, getting into a very heated debate about, again, the emotions are running pretty high after this verdict came out. A lot of people, especially those who were very much free Diddy, free Sean Combs, those who are kind of in his support system, kind of yelling a little bit at us. I even see some of the comments from you guys. Some of y'all are saying that we're biased, all of those things. And so in terms of just the emotions running kind of high after this verdict is read, it's definitely spilling out over into the courtroom. The yelling kind of stopped for a moment. Not sure if it went kind of over to the other side, but it seems like there is still a lot kind of going on. I'm glad that it kind of calmed down a little bit before you went back to me, but it was kind of a little bit of a commotion going on. I was just kind of nervous for a moment that he might interrupt our live shot, but it doesn't seem like that's happening.
Right.
It seems like, for the most part, I was taken over to the side a little bit over there.
Well, you stay safe. We will talk to you a little bit later, and we'll find out what today is going to have in store for us and whether or not we might actually see Sean Combs exit that courthouse. That would be something. We, the public, have not been able to lay eyes on him for quite some time. Elizabeth Milner, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Want to bring on Tyler Bailey into the conversation. Tyler, thanks so much for coming on. It's good to see you. I mean, I'm made of questions, but we also have a ton of questions coming on. We have a lot of questions about this. So JAM has a super chat question. Thank you so much. Must Diddy register as a sex offender? And Martina McGowan, again, has a super chat question. Thank you so much. Is he classified now as a sex offender? So is he classified as a sex offender right now after being convicted? And will he have to be under federal law?
Yeah, that depends on the statute. I don't believe with these charges that he's going to have to register as a sex offender. He'll probably have some terms of any supervised release that he gets that may require, sex addiction counseling or things of that nature. But I don't see with the charges that Mr. Combs has been accused of and the remaining ones that are left of him having to register as a sex offender. This isn't a case involving minors. I'll need to double check the statute, but I don't believe that's going to be a part of his penalty.
Tyler, got a super chat question from Robin Donnellan. Robin, thank you so much. Will Diddy get back all the tapes and other items that the feds took in the raid? It's an interesting question because I wonder if he could put in a request for whatever was taken for property that was seized, but at the same time, he was convicted. And the argument could be that evidence was used to convict him. I mean, what are the chances he could get any of that material actually back?
It's unlikely that he would get that material back. And also unlikely that he would even ask for the material back. And still, he was convicted of 2 charges. He may appeal those 2 convictions that he has left here. So it's still relevant for purpose of the appeal on the record. So I don't see him trying to get it back. And also sometimes, when you win, you get a win, you don't need to overplay your hand like the government did in this case.
We have a super chat question from LC. Thank you so much. I'll throw this to you, Mina. Elizabeth's a star. Did this boil down to closings? She threw paint on a wall and left it for the jury to paint the picture on their own. I'm assuming they're talking about the prosecution. Could have said charge, crime after crime, line by line. Jurors are not painters. Thoughts? Did the prosecution, I guess the question, were they too broad? Did they just give too much for the jury to consider? Was it, a little too, too much when you look at all the underlying predicate crimes of kidnapping, arson, forced labor, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution? I know they were trying to set up a criminal enterprise, but was it too much, Mina?
Well, I think there's a lot of nuances in the law. I mean, even me just being on air, having to explain to my audience, what are predicate acts and what do they need in order to get the guilty on the RICO. I think it was very law heavy and it might have been confusing for the jury. I also think the defense did an awesome job of discrediting some of the witnesses. They presented extensive text messages that were loving from Jane Doe and Cassie and even Mia, after she claims that she was raped and all these horrible things happened to her. Mia continued to praise him on social media. And and in the case of Cassie and Jane Doe, they continued those relationships despite them testifying that they had been victimized in some way. So I think the defense did an awesome job of disproving and discrediting some of the witnesses here. And I think that's what we're seeing. All you need is a little modicum of reasonable doubt. And clearly that was there because we see how the jury decided this case.
Look, I came on air yesterday and I gave my prediction. I said, based on the juror notes, it seemed to me you couldn't have jurors who were voting in favor of racketeering. There was a split there. And them not have already convicted him of something else. There's no way they could say we're thinking about convicting him of racketeering and he's completely acquitted across the board and everything.
Yeah, now we get to realize after hearing the verdict, they basically was going to try to think about the RICO without sex trafficking charges. So they're like, maybe the prostitution, but is it RICO? Like, they were stuck on that. That's clearly what it was.
Else. The easiest, I've said this from the beginning, the easiest convictions for the prosecution were transportation to engage in prostitution based on the phone records, text messages, travel receipts, testimony. It was there. It was there. What was more up in the air was sex trafficking. And I thought because the jurors did not even ask for a readback of testimony with respect to Jane, and because of already some of the grayer parts of her testimony, it was likely that they were going to find him not guilty with respect to sex trafficking of Jane. Where the one that was a toss-up was sex trafficking of Cassie. I thought because of the readouts of the testimony yesterday of the key alleged moments of alleged sex trafficking, right, when they talk about 2016, the attack, when they talk about the plane incident, when they talk about Daniel Phillips' testimony, I thought that was the jury reading that back, coming back with a verdict shortly thereafter that they might convict him on sex trafficking. They did not. Maybe there was a debate about, let's just look at this one final time, and they were not convinced. Racketeering was up in the air always, and it did become a question even after a modified Allen charge from the judge. Would they come back and say, we still can't come to a decision? Would they say, nope, actually we find him guilty? Here they found him not guilty. I want to bring in Sierra Gillespie, law and crimes reporter who's been on the ground, who's been doing excellent coverage, the host of Scandal. Hope everybody can check it out on YouTube as well. It's a great show. Couple of things that we have coming in here, super chat questions. So first of all, Maria Jimenez says, no question, this person is just showing support. Thank you so much, Maria. That's so kind of you. But this is an important question we have coming in, and I want you to answer it, Sierra. Pizza asks, This is, and thank you for the super chat question, Pizza. This is a spit in the faces of victims everywhere. This is why victims don't come forward. What's your reaction to that?
I think it's an emotional reaction for a lot of people, right? And we've talked about this throughout the case, the fact that this witness testimony was so intimate, so personal, going through some of their own trauma that they had to do, number one, in front of a crowd, number two, in front of their alleged abuser, is hard, right? Okay, so we have that really intense stuff they're talking about. And yet, unfortunately, most of us know someone who's been affected by sexual abuse in some way, separating it from the case altogether, you know? And so I think that's really why this case has struck a chord with so many people. If we're setting aside P. Diddy and his celebrity status, which is interesting, yes, but if we focus on the sex trafficking allegations, almost everyone unfortunately knows someone who was the victim of sexual assault, if not themselves. And so, of course, it's going to be emotional to have a result like this, not guilty in regards to Jane and Cassie and the sex trafficking. Honestly, I heard what you were saying, Jesse, before you called me up, and I tend to agree with you. I thought, Jane, I could see that being not guilty, but with Cassie, that's not at all what I was expecting. And I don't know if I can say exactly what our viewer said about this being a spit-in-the-face situation, but I do think, I mean, maybe it's true. If we're believing what the government had to say in some of their statements, they were saying this could deter other victims in other cases unrelated to P. Diddy from coming forward. This is very important. A lot of cases rely or hinder on the testimony from these witnesses or alleged survivors and abusers because sometimes it takes a while to come forward. Sometimes there's no longer that DNA or it happened way back when if we're talking a civil suit. So I do think it's a statement at the very least.
Sierra, what is going on around you? I understand people are quite tense. Who's around you? What are they saying? What is happening right now after the verdict?
It is tense here, Jesse. It very much so is. I mean, just seconds ago, before I came on air, there were people live streaming, literally screaming at each other. So much so that I was like, okay, am I safe here? Which is what we're all evaluating all the time, making sure that we're okay and safe. Because people are legitimately screaming, yelling at each other about differing opinions. Some people are so pro-Diddy. How could you have in the past said something so bad about P. Diddy? You reported that. How could you? Other people who are literally smoking cigars and saying this is a victory because he'll at least spend some time behind bars, according to these people. And behind me, I don't know if you can see.
All right, man. Hold on. Let me get my man Bradford Cohen on here, man. It's my gang right here.
Let's talk Diddy bond. Does he get bond? That is a question that I've been getting. I have like 50 DMs about bond and whether or not I think he's going to get bond. If I'm the judge, yes, I give him bond. I think that the government in this case was nasty all the way through. I think they're going to be nasty all the way to sentencing. I think they're going to recommend that he serve consecutive sentences, which no person on earth would ever get a consecutive sentence on this type of crime, this Mann Act. They're going to bring in all these other instances of bad acts and what a bad guy is that they couldn't prove at trial. There is some case law that says, listen, the judge can't consider that anymore. Those are not guilty verdicts. Those are things that you cannot bring into sentencing. But, you know, the government will try anyways because that is their MO during this case. The jury was disgusted by their case. For everyone that I've spoken to that was in the courtroom that watched the jury's face when Comey did her rebuttal, which I thought was lackluster and didn't get her anywhere. And the jury was looking down, trying not to look at her because they were so disgusted with the case. That's why I said it was going to be not guilties other than the Mann Act. And that's what they proved. He's a John. That's what they proved. Do I think that he's a great guy? That they proved that he's not a perfect guy? Yeah, I think they proved that he's not a perfect guy. I think they proved domestic violence. This was a state case from the beginning. I said that from the beginning. I said that from day one. This is a state case. It should not be in the feds. But, of course, the Southern District of New York picked it up when it was a different U.S. attorney that was in charge. And I think if this happened again, this U.S. attorney wouldn't even have taken this case. I don't predict that Comey will last long at the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York. But he is entitled to bond. I think that he should get a bond. It is under the judge's discretion of whether or not to grant the bond. but $1 million and a electronic monitor should suffice for him to show up at the sentencing. Let's talk Diddy Bond.
That's my man right there. I agree.
As much now. There were so many people here, I'm going to guess around 200, it could have been growing, that the crowd was kind of falling into the streets. I went across the street and kind of wanted to see what the vibe was over there. Again, very tense. And New York police officers were there saying, get back, because this is an active street, by the way. You've seen the sirens and heard the horns. Like, people are driving up and down this road, and it's unsafe to be walking in the middle of the street. So just probably 5 minutes ago, an NYPD giant van with barricades came, and they were going and putting them farther across the courthouse there so that people can't spill out over into the road for their safety, and also, honestly, possibly because the crowd has gotten so wily and so rowdy, and we just don't know what's going to happen. So there is a pretty decent-sized police presence here, too.
We have reporting from NBC to couple this that say men outside the courtroom screaming over their opposing views on Combs' verdict, as Sierra was saying. Apparently, there is one man who's been reported to be wearing a denim jacket, sunglasses, questioning another man in a red shirt and a bucket hat over whether Combs is going to prison. The man in the denim had yelled, he beat her. The other man said it doesn't matter. The other man says he beat her, he kicked her. The other one says, and she liked it. How about that? This is a verdict, Sierra, because essentially, let's be entirely clear. The jury was not convinced that Cassie or Jane were victims of sex trafficking, that they were not, that Sean Combs did not use force, fraud, or coercion to induce them into commercial sex acts. They believe that they were transported across state lines for the purposes of prostitution. That is a very different legal conclusion than sex trafficking. And you wonder, you respect the jury's verdict, you understand the jury's verdict. I have no reason to question the jury's verdict. This seemed to be a very methodical jury, took their position, their role very seriously. But you can see how people are now going to interpret this in different ways.
Oh, yeah, and that description that you just made, the man who was wearing the red bucket hat and then the denim jacket, that was literally right behind me. Where the camera is, right behind the camera is where that was happening. And it was tense, and you do see this, Jesse. I mean, it's opposing views. Some people who say that they are advocates for people who are sexual assault survivors, who are saying one thing, and other people who are saying they are advocates for P. Diddy, he's wrongly accused, saying another thing. So there's a lot happening.
Yeah. Tyler, I want to go to you real quick. We got a super chat question that came in. Keon Roper, I'm so sorry. Pronunciation's not my strong suit. But thank you for the super chat question. Could Diddy have a civil suit? Could he sue the government? Misconduct for Breonna Bengolin's perjured testimony, overcharging with Rico, because Rico seems like a clear overcharge. Can he sue the government now?
He could sue the government. He would likely be unsuccessful in suing the government. I think the government had probable cause for the charges that they accused.
Yeah, suing the government is just stupid because the things that they need to file to carry out charges against you, it's voted on by other people. It's voted on by a grand jury. It's not the government. Now, you'd have to challenge the entire system of how people get indictments, which will never happen.
Accused Mr. Combs of committing, but they were not able to prove some of those charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Generally, there could be, malicious prosecution or a false arrest or false imprisonment case when somebody is arrested without probable cause. But here, based off the evidence that we've seen over 7 weeks of trial, there was clearly enough probable cause for the arrest. But the jury felt differently, that he was not guilty of mainly the RICO charge and along with the sex trafficking charges.
Okay, so here at almost noon, we are getting a report that Sean Combs' family is entering that courthouse once again. This day is not over. We are going to see whether or not Sean Combs will be released. Will we see him on the outside? Will he walk out of that federal courthouse? It's going to be up to the judge. Both sides are petitioning one way or another. The prosecution wants him locked up. The defense wants him freed. There is an advantage in the defense's camp right now after him being acquitted of racketeering and conspiracy and sex trafficking. We are going to take a break. We will continue with more live coverage here on Law and Crime.
Wow. Outside is looking crazy.
So the Diddy and Cassie situation has been getting freakier and freakier by the day. The more and more I hear about these allegations, Diddy is a freaky man, the king of the freak offs. And Cassie, you feel me? She was young, vulnerable. Um, but like what Axe said, she could have left. Like Diddy was not holding her well. This is what's hard for me. Allegedly, Diddy wasn't holding her hostage, but she said on the video that came out in the hotel where he hit her over and drug her back, she was trying to leave one of the freak offs. And Diddy said, "Oh no, you're not gonna leave the freak offs. You gotta, yeah, wait till the dude, bust a nut, allegedly, then all over you, then scrape it off, go in the other room and rub it on my nipples." That's what he wanted. It sounds so crazy to say, but that's what Diddy wanted. Like, we seen him in the robe. I thought he was just fresh out the shower, but allegedly he was probably butt naked. I'm surprised there was no baby oil on her or him, or she wiped it off. That's why he was so mad. It was no baby oil on. Hey man, I genuinely feel bad for Cassie. I feel bad for her husband too, because he has to be in court and he's listening to all these things. And I don't really think Cassie's lying about anything. Like, Cassie just seems like a nice girl, probably like gentle, innocent, like, and she just wanted a career. Like, man, I'm struggling here because I want to be very, very honest about everything, like my point of view. I don't think Diddy was the best of best people, and I think everything he did to Cassie was wrong, and it was definitely manipulative and all that stuff. But like, is it sex trafficking though? Like, this is what he's charged for. Like, domestic violence, yes. Assault, yes. Like, probably a bunch of other crazy stuff, yes. But sex trafficking, bro, I don't know if you could say he was sex trafficking. But it's only day 2 of the trial. And I'm gonna be very, very unbiased about every single thing I say. It's day 2 of the trial. Diddy is he's there every day. They say that he's looking white as hell, he's gray as hell. He's, you feel me? They said he was looking at Cassie the whole time. But day 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe 2 weeks later, there might be someone else taking the stand, and we don't know how that's gonna go. Maybe like 3 days later, there's gonna be a new person taking the stand, and they just expose everything about Diddy. Like, we don't know fully everything Diddy's done yet. Like, there might have been men that he was having free calls with. Like, ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, Act was the line about what he said. Diddy should just came out and said that he was a flexible, bro. He should just said he was bisexual, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And what Act said, bro, all these rappers gotta come out who was around Diddy, like really, really hung around Diddy and was like really cool with him. They need to come out and like, yeah, yeah, bro. You gotta defend yourself, your integrity. You feel me? But your boy Big Act News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And do you feel like Diddy's innocent, or do you feel like he's guilty? And we're talking about sex trafficking. Like, we're not talking about is he a good person or not. Do you think he's guilty of sex trafficking, Cassie? It's your boy Big Act News, and I'm out.